Glad you are with us here on News Radio WRVA. Lots of really important news to talk about, including all the spending up in D.C. And I don't know if you saw the assertion that the devil's in the details in all of these pieces of legislation. That's why you got to read the legislation here in Richmond. I've got to tell you, if you follow Amanda Chase, the former senator, on Facebook, she may be doing more service to the average person by tracking the bills in public than what she could do when she was in the Senate, always kind of having to get into fights with different people in the Senate. Because if you follow her on Facebook, she actually is tracking committee votes and telling you what the bills are. I have found it very, very interesting. We've had her on a couple of times, and I've had a few people like, how come you have Amanda Chase on? She's not a senator anymore. I know. I'm not saying she's a senator. I'm saying she spent 8 years in there, and she kind of didn't go along to get along with everybody, as you well know, I'm sure. But she has decided that she's going to use that knowledge that she gained from the 8 years in the Senate to flag things that she thinks conservatives will be interested in. And I find it very interesting to follow. Hold on, let me just see real quick if I can pull up what she had last night. I couldn't sleep last night, so I kept, I don't know, for some reason I just couldn't sleep. All right. Here's one from 13 hours ago. And so this one I didn't see. Senate bill regarding same-sex marriage. Hold on. Marriage lawful regardless of sex, gender, or race of parties, issuance of marriage license. This, of course, from Adam Eben, who I've known for years, who is the senator from up in, I think he's Alexandria. I don't think he's Arlington. I think he's Alexandria. And we disagree on everything politically. God. I haven't seen him in a long time, so he may not even speak to me anymore. He may be another one who has got Trump derangement syndrome. I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me because I think the folks up in Northern Virginia, a lot of them do. But anyway, I'm not trying to jinx it. But I guess this is about just putting everybody on the record about gay marriage. Or is this repealing the constitutional amendment? I'll have to dig into that. All right, so that's one thing that Senator Chase put up. Here's another one from 13 hours ago. Democrat Senator McPike wants to allow DACA recipients to become law enforcement officers with arrest authority over citizens. See, that is a problem for me. And has anybody else covered it? I've heard about it in other places. I didn't know that bill was going through the Senate. I don't think if you are not a full citizen that you should be a law enforcement officer. No offense. I just think there's certain steps. Like, should I be a surgeon even though didn't go to medical school? It's a little different, I know, but I'm trying to think symbolically. Should I be in the line of succession to be King of England if I am not a Brit? I just think that there's certain things that you should probably be before you have authority over other citizens. And, DACA, that's deferred action on childhood arrivals. So I guess their argument would be they've been here since they were kids, so let them be law enforcement. I just, no. I don't think so. I don't think that's appropriate. So I wouldn't have known about that if Amanda Chase hadn't put that up. Here, let's see. The boyfriend loophole passed out of the Senate on a party line vote, another gun control bill. So firearms purchased following an assault and battery against a person in a dating situation. Democrats just passed a bill out of the Senate which will go after gun manufacturers. Oh, yeah, this is Jennifer Carroll Foy. Firearm industry members create standards of responsible conduct and civil liability. So I need to do a little more research on these bills. But you see what I'm saying? This is just Amanda Chase yesterday. All these different bills that are coming through. Ranked choice voting is moving through the Senate. This is where you get a ballot that's got 6 names on it, 3 names, 10 names on it, and you rank them. And then your first choice may not win, but then it rolls to your second choice. And the person who got the least number of votes drops off each round. And the people who are fascinated by this, but I got to tell you, do you think that I think Senator Allen likes this idea. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I was told that he liked it. I'll have to ask him when he's on again. But to me, this seems very complicated. For goodness sakes, our society doesn't seem to be able to count the basic ballot correctly, right? One person, one vote. You pick your top candidate, and that's it, man. You have to make the tough decision. I may like 5 or 6 of these people, but you know what? You got to make a tough decision. And we're not even capable of counting that correctly. Whether that's deliberate or not is debatable, right? But I think that's a problem. I'm not looking to complicate the system even more. I think there is something to be said for the ranked choice voting when it comes to people feeling better about the end choice. Like, well, I didn't get my first choice, but they, this is somebody I did put them as number 3. So if they won, and that was the deal with Glenn Youngkin when the Republicans were picking the nominee for governor. So, Republicans kind of rallied around Glenn Youngkin. There were a lot of other candidates who were very experienced, who people knew real well. Glenn Youngkin. Again, I'm glad Glenn Youngkin's the governor. I'm not trashing Glenn Youngkin, but Glenn Youngkin did benefit from the fact that he didn't have a voting record. And one thing I learned in television is if you keep your mouth shut, which is impossible for me, if you keep your mouth shut, people who think you're attractive will just assign, they'll be like, oh, he's like me. He thinks like I do. It's not true necessarily, but that seems to be like a human instinct. If you are somehow appealing to the average person, they will assign their belief system to you. All you got to do is keep your mouth shut and be friendly and pleasant. And they assume. I've had this happen to with a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I know you hate Trump." They find me attractive. They think I'm interesting, and I've traveled around the world, so I break some of the stereotypes of a Trump person in their head, at least. And so they assume that I hate Trump. So they say, oh, I know you hate Trump. And then when I'm like, well, I try to be diplomatic. I'm like, well, I think there are a lot of things about Trump that are interesting. You don't really like Trump, do you? They assigned their belief system to me. And then it's very disappointing when I don't live up to what they think is the gold standard here. So that's kind of weird. Oh, anyway, follow Amanda Chase on Facebook because I do think she is doing a good job of flagging bills that we just don't have the same reporter collection at the Capitol these days. You're just not going to get that coverage. All right, I don't want to run out of time without mentioning this story